Shalom, Kal Halalim, La Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Recha HaKodash, double honors unto the apostles of GMS, who I learned this truth from, and who rule well, and salutations and blessings unto you elect out there, hopeful elect. Alright, coming back once again to the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Recha HaKodash. Alright, this one I've been brewing up a bit, I've been researching, and I wanted to bring out basically the state of the society, this whole Western, I'll say, society, America, Canada, the state of it. The state of it is, it's never been worse. And I'm going into the whole aspect of society, from the people's mindset to what you're being fed. Well, basically what you're being fed, and not only, food-wise, they say food for thought, right? The diet is not only what you consume for your belly, all right? It's what you pay, right? That's why you say pay attention, you pay with your focus, with your mind, all right? That's why these distractions are out here. Anyway, I'm going to go into it. Lord's will, I'll bring out some scriptures, but there's some information I'm going to read, so brothers, stick with me. Again, this ain't for, people that have a short attention span. If you have that, then you gotta work on that, or do what you gotta do, or maybe this video isn't for you. But anyway, this is from Wikipedia under satire, and the reason I'm doing this lesson is because the original reason is I found that in this society a lot of things come into fruition, a lot of policies, legislation, values, morals, etc. They come through ways of comedy, and a lot of things that are serious and biblical and real, foundational, whatever you want to call it, fundamental, masculine, original principles, whatever. Those things are passed off as comedy and they're ridiculed. All right. And a lot of the ways they do that is through something called satire. Is a genre of the visual, literary, and performing arts, usually in the form of fiction and less frequently non-fiction, in which vices, follies, abuses, and shortcomings are held up to ridicule, often with the intent of shaming or exposing the perceived flaws of individuals, corporations, government, or society itself into improvement. Although satire is usually meant to be humorous, its greater purpose, here you go, is often constructive social criticism, using wit to draw attention to both particular and wider issues in society. All right. Now, again, they're coming from one angle, as to say people can use satire to expose government or, whatever. But we know that, first of all, in movies and TV shows, there's a thing called predictive programming, and they use satire. I'm giving this example. They use satire or comedy or something light, right, to disguise something very heavy, something that they're trying to really push. All right. Let's go here. A feature of satire is strong irony or sarcasm. In satire, irony is militant, according to literary critic Northrop Frye, but parody, burlesque, exaggeration, juxtaposition, comparison, analogy, and double entendre are all frequently used in satirical speech and writing. I'm going to jump down here. Humor, right? The rules of satire are such that it must do more than make you laugh, no matter how amusing it is, right? So a lot of these movies that come out, we know that they push a lot of things, right? They'll just, certain times in certain comedy movies, comedic movies, which, there's this, there used to be something called good comedy. I'll put it that way. Not dirty, not exposed, not, just bugged out. But now you got shit like, Hangover and complete, just madness. Like, what's another one? The Neighbors, or what's it called? The Neighbors or something? There's two of them. Dumb, stupid movies like that, man. But a lot of times they'll use those things for these exact reasons. They know millions of people are going to watch this. Not only from America, around the world, right? Hollywood, that's a worldwide organization, right? A corporation, right? So basically, in those movies, they'll push certain agendas. And the next one after Moism, all right, man with man, is the P, all right, PED. And I'm not going to say the rest. But that's the next phase of pansexuality that they're going to push. And they've been doing it very slickly, actually for more than a decade already. But they've been pushing it up in recent years. They've been pushing up that, that madness out there. All right. Laughter, hold on. It says it doesn't count unless you find yourself wincing a little even as you chuckle. Laughter is not an essential component of satire. In fact, there are types of satire that are not meant to be funny at all. Conversely, not all humor, even on such topics as politics, religion, or art, is necessarily satirical, even when it uses the satirical tools of irony, parody, and burlesque. Even light-hearted satire has a serious aftertaste. The organizers of the IG Nobel Prize describes this as quote, first make people laugh and then make them think. And a lot of times you're being pushed that madness subliminally, subconscious. It goes in your subconscious. It gets stored in your mind. And then you might see an advertisement or something or a commercial. This place is about business, man. This place is about traffic. But people forget or don't know that you are a commodity, you are a product, and you are being influenced to make other people rich, to buy their products. But you're a consumer, man. This is a consumer-based society, right? So here it says social and psychological functions. Satire and irony in some cases have been regarded as the most effective source to understand a society, the oldest form of social study. They provide the keenest insights into a group's collective psyche. And you know what? Just a side note, when I was in high school, I used to like taking social studies and geography and shit like that. But I remember just from social studies, and I wasn't an A student, but just from reading and learning, what they show you, I kind of understood that basically people are very heavily influenced. And when they so-called say they're studying a society, they're not going to tell you, look, we're shaping pretty much society, and then we have you bozos out here that think you're just studying the after effects of what we created, the after effects of fucking the what do you call it, the it's on the tip of my tongue. Every action there's a reaction. You're just studying the reaction of what we just created. We just made that, but you don't know that we did it. It says they provide, I read that part. It says some authors have regarded satire as superior to non-comic and non-artistic disciplines like history or anthropology. So that was that was pretty much it on that. I can read a little bit more. Yeah, exaggeration. That's a big thing. If you notice in movies nowadays, in the last 10 years, especially the last 5 years, but really 10 plus, exaggeration has exploded in movies. But they hide some of the most heinous things, man. Like case in point, that movie, the new one with the Amalekite, where he starts dating the Jake woman, Jonah. What's his name? Jonah. It's on Netflix, right? But they brought out the JJs. They owned slaves and they were in the slave trade, and this it seems, oh my god, that's so exaggerated. It's funny, but it's the truth. They like to play with stuff like that, man. That's how they roll. All right. So let's go into a few things that I have. Here's an article from theconversation.com dated July 9th, 2015, The Manipulation of the American Mind, Edward Bernays and the Birth of Public Relations, right? Because there is a department like that in America called the Department of Public Relations, right? But again, They're just gonna say, it's something that it's not, basically. The most interesting man in the world, reach out and touch someone. Finger licking good, such advertising slogans have become fiction, right, of American culture. And each year, millions now tune into the Super Bowl as much for the ads as for the football. While no single person can claim exclusive credit for the ascendancy of advertising in American life, no one deserves credit more than a man most of us have never heard of. Edward Bernays. I first encountered Bernays through an article I was reading on propaganda, or writing on propaganda, and it quickly became clear that he was one of the 20th century's foremost salesmen of ideas. Now, these guys, you're going to find out, all these guys, they're pretty much elitists, or they're employed by elitists to push an agenda. Okay, that's why one of the masters of America, right, your lords, is Lord Rockefeller, right? The Rockefeller family, right? They established a Rockefeller Foundation. They set the tone for what it is to practice medicine in America and basically around the world through their pharmaceuticals. The oil, they tricked you people into, they called it fossil fuel, right? Because they wanted to make it seem rare and like there's a finite amount of it on the planet, when it's abundant. It flows underneath in the earth. That's in the book of Job, right? But they want you to believe that. So that's a big family. And guess what he said? He was also big into so-called education. I'm gonna say so-called, but he was a forerunner in basically establishing the public school system, the public school system, right? The public school system. He was a part of that as well. And he has a big quote where he says, I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers. So you're damn right. All these when telecommunication blew up, radio, and then you had the television, you had newspaper before that, you had the advertisement, they were all in there. And all these large mega companies, these entertainment companies, these cable companies, it all goes back to 1-2 people, man, 1-2 families. All right. So this is an elitist agenda. So he said, Bernays pioneered public relations, often referred to as the father of public relations. Bernays, in 1928, published his seminal work, Propaganda, in which he argued that public relations is not a gimmick, but a necessity. Quote, the conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. Look at that, right? 1928, man, right? It says, we are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed. Wow. I didn't even read this quote, but this is exactly how I was thinking, man, years ago. Because you can kind of, you could, if you're paying attention, you can see the same patterns, man, in society. The same MOs, mode of operation, method of operation, right? Our tastes are formed and our ideas suggested. Now, when you go into the occult, all right, you brothers that are researching the occult, which don't go too deep in that shit, but when you go into the occult, one of the Freemasons top techniques, I'll say, or methods that they use to control you people is power. I believe it's called powerful suggestion. Okay, something on those lines. I know the word suggestion is in there. It's either powerful or something suggestion. All right, and that's where they use their witchcraft. But how do they do it? They do it in their advertisement, in their commercials, man, in their movies, in their TV shows. They're doing ceremonies and they're doing all kinds of things that you don't understand, you can't see. Like right now, people are figuring out, oh my God, look at Disney. Look at all these subliminal messages. Why are there penises in the background of this mermaid cassette tape? All those old school Disney cartoons, man. When you look them up, there's all kinds of subliminal messages. That's how they use it, man. That's how they use that witchcraft. All right, powerful suggestion or power of suggestion. All right, largely our tastes are formed, our ideas suggested largely by men we have never heard of. It is they who pull the wires that control the public mind. I gotta save this one. Hold on, because I didn't read that one, so I'm gonna save that one. But yeah, man, that's this guy Bernays, right? The father of public relations. Bernays came by his beliefs honestly. Born in Austria in 1891, the year Sigmund Freud published one of his earliest papers, Bernays was also Freud's nephew twice over. Aha. Now you're seeing the connections, man. Oh, that's just a coincidence. You're crazy. You're crazy. Hey, man, you people are really bugged out, man. You people are the bugged out ones, man. You know what? It's too late. A lot of you, first of all, a lot of you are, a lot of y'all are juiced up, man. You got the Beetlejuice. Okay? You're a walking, fucking ticking time bomb, man. Okay? Anyway, it says, let's go down here. Bernays rebrands propaganda. Haven't seen how effective propaganda could be during war. Bernays wondered whether it might prove equally useful during peacetime. Yet propaganda had acquired a somewhat pejorative connotation, which would be further magnified during World War II, so Bernays promoted the term public relations. Drawing on the insights of his uncle Sigmund, a relationship Bernays was always quick to mention, he developed an approach he dubbed the engineering of consent. Jeez, the engineering of consent, bro. Yo, that's why the scriptures say, man, this man is deep. The heart is deep. They you know, all they do is study. They study to do wickedness, man. They study evil and wickedness. Damn. He provided leaders the means to control and regiment the masses according to our will without their knowing about it. To do so, and you brothers know why. Now everybody, not even the brothers, pretty much a lot of people are seeing these subliminal things. You know why, right? I'm gonna give you a minute. Why is everything collapsing? Because this place is being exposed, man. The skirt is being lifted up, right? The witchcraft is failing, actually. That's the real reason. The witchcraft is failing, and the shit's slipping, man. All right, there's a problem here. There's a problem there. Okay. They're stretched too thin. A lot of things are happening. To do so, it was necessary to appeal not to the rational part of the mind, but the unconscious. Do you understand? Jeez. Bernays acquired an impressive list of clients ranging from manufacturers such as General Electric, Procter & Gamble, and American Tobacco Company to media outlets like CBS, and even politicians such as Calvin Coolidge. To counteract President Coolidge's stiff image, Bernays organized pancake breakfasts and White House concerts with Al Jolson and other Broadway performers. With Bernays' help, Coolidge won the 1924 election. Bernays' publicity campaigns with the stuff of legend to overcome sales resistance to cigarette smoking among women. Bernays staged a demonstration at the 1929 Easter Parade, and we know that's Ashtar. So we know why he picked that day. These people are luminous, man. They're occultists, right? Having fashionable young women flaunt their torches of freedom. All right, and you can read this. I'm not gonna read this whole thing. This goes into the, carnal things. I'll say about cigarettes and push this, which is witchcraft as well. I won't say carnal. I'll say basic things. Not conspiratorial things anymore, but these were at one point, because look, you had doctors back in cigarettes. The Camel, I forget the name, it's a Camel something, right? You had doctors back in that shit. Okay, so this is a very good article, man. Understand, they engineer what you think, what you like. Man, you people are bugged out. Let's look up this word advertisement, right? early 15th century written statement calling attention to something, a public notice. Now let's go down here. This is good. I'm going to go to advertise, the verb, to take notice of, make aware, call attention, remark, turn to. From Latin, advertere, which is, hold on, what does it say? To direct one's attention to. So what was I saying before about pay attention? Why did they say that? Pay attention, right? The people, teachers, parents, pay attention. You're using currency. What currency? Your mind, your energy. Esau calls it ATP, right? That's your energy. That's the currency. Energy currency in your body that you use for every action, every your heartbeat, everything, man, is fueled by ATP. Down into the cell at the core is ATP, man. So pay attention. But what do they do in the society? You have your phone, you have your Instagram, your Snapchat, your Twitter, Facebook is going off. Someone's messaging you here, someone's calling you. Yo, you got your show, you got your tickets here, you got all kinds of fuckery, man. Things that really don't matter. And they're distracting you. So why do you think they, hold on, why do you think marketing is so big? Why do you think companies spend hundreds of millions of dollars on marketing and advertisement and packaging, right? The presentation, basically, which is the advertisement, the commercial, you know, and then the packaging. Because you people operate with the flesh of the eyes, you know. You're so grabby, you know. Yo, I want this. Oh, look, this looks good. Oh my God, too much dopamine. You know, they play with that shit, right? The word actually, satire itself, I didn't look it up. Edom Online, 15th century, a literary work intended to ridicule prevailing vice or folly by a scornful or contemptuous expression. So they'll put some fuckery, folly, vice in some movies, and they'll exaggerate it, and they'll have you laughing at it. So that's what I'm saying. Look at the next stage, man. The P, E, D, etc. Right? What are they pushing in these movies, in these TV shows, man? They got what better yet, what do they got you laughing at? Drew Barrymore, she had a show on Netflix. That's a great example of pure satire. The movie was satirical about what? Cannibalism. Right? The movie was complete satire all about fucking cannibalism, man. Right? About how she needed to kill people and eat them, right? Because she had a fucking hunger for that shit, right? And you're there watching, yeah, season 1, Drew Barrymore. I think there's a season 2, or maybe a season 3 even. You're there laughing, consuming that shit. Part of your diet, man. Right? This place is bugged out, bro. It says down here, from French, directly from Latin, satire, poetic medley, early satura, mixed dish filled with various kinds of fruit. Literally a full dish. That's interesting. All right. I'm going to get one more thing, but let me get this scripture. I had this. This is Ecclesiasticus 10:1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Is this place ordered? Of course not. This place is breaking apart, man. You know, here in Toronto, things are actually turning up. What do you call it? The public transit system. You got stabbings and all kinds of assaults a few times a week. And that never used to happen. That was a thing that happened once a month. Things on the subway, or someone maybe got stabbed, someone maybe pushed somebody. You know, you'd hear that maybe once a year, you know, every 6 months. Right? Maybe a fight or something, but yo, every fucking week, man. There's like a few incidents. This place is turning up. This place is getting more bugged out. So this place is not well ordered. And we're actually living in a place where even if you have your firearms license, there's no open carry or concealed carry. When you keep it at your house, and an intruder comes in and you blast him away, right? You blast that motherfucker away, you're fighting for your freedom now. You got to hire a lawyer, an attorney, to prove as to why you killed this man, in self-defense. So this place is completely bugged out. It's not well ordered. And the reason it's not well ordered is because, first of all, the people that are your judges, the government of your, the government, all right, they're all set up by the top elite, the top elitists. The term is an oligarchy, all right? If you want to get technical, it's an oligarchy. It's a few people at the top. Verse 2, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So you're telling me, what are these Rothschilds, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Orsinis, the Rockefeller, what do they do? What do they do behind closed doors, man? All right, you don't want to know. You'll throw up. But they're some of the most conniving, diabolic. Not some. They are the wicked. I'll just say that, man. They are the wicked. Right? And verse 3, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Right? But the point was in verse 2, what manner of man the ruler of the city is. So what are they pushing in this society? Why are they pushing this shit? Because that's what they do. That's how they get down. Right? When they push things about adrenochrome. Yo, they just started doing that the last 5 years. Right? They rarely did it. There was a movie in the 90s with Johnny Depp, I think. If I'm not mistaken, but he's like, yo, what's this? He's like, oh, they get the blood from the adrenal glands, and he was explaining something. It was like a drug. Now they're straight pushing it. There's a show with Morgan Freeman, I think. They're going into the adrenochrome. So all these, and if you don't know what adrenochrome is, look it up. You're gonna get a fact check that is false, but look up. They still give you a summary. They'll still give you a summary, man. Let me get this. This is Ecclesiastes 10:6. And by the way, before that, let me get this, because Ecclesiastes, who wrote that book? Right? It was King Solomon. And what was King Solomon privy to? He was privy to this. This is Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 17. For he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements. Now this was, who's speaking here? Solomon, but who was that spirit? That was Yahushua, the only begotten son of Yahweh. And he was put in this vessel as Solomon. And the Lord blessed him with all kinds of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and wickedness as well, knowing both left hand and right hand. So you got to listen to this man. He said what? He said, namely, to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements. And it's funny because he was the one doing that with his elect, with the 144,000. Right? Verse 18, the beginning, this is the point, the beginning, ending, and the midst of the times. So Solomon was made privy to what? The beginning and the ending and the midst of the times. Okay? The alteration of the turning of the sun and the change of seasons. Okay? So let's go to Ecclesiastes 10:6. This is Solomon. Folly is set in great dignity. Let's look up that word folly in the Hebrew. The word is sakal. Sakal, which means folly. Yeah, pretty much folly. Fools. Foolishness, basically, right? And folly, all you got to do is look up things like what's that show? What's that podcast? I forget the name of the podcast in LA with that Edomite. He gets all these weird bugged out people. All you got to do is just look up the popular shit, the shit that's popping in the society. It's all folly. The fashion trends, like I said, the value and the morality and thinking of people, the ideologies, it's all folly, right? Folly set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place. So this really speaks multitudes, man. Folly is set in great dignity. So in this society, you have these bug. Hey, you know what movie shows you that? Hunger Games. Hunger Games was good. I think it was the first or second one where they showed you all. I think it was the first one, right when they came there. The girl, all the contestants, right? They came to the main place, and then they were at the party with the rich people, and they were bugged out, man. Like when you watch that scene, they look bugged out. What they were wearing, how they looked, they just look disgusting. And that's dignitaries, right? In this society, those are top dignitaries. Like when you watch that movie Eyes Wide Shut with Tom Cruise, yo, that was a big movie, man. If you never watched that movie, you should check it out with Tom Cruise, Eyes Wide Shut, right? That movie was first of all, it was filmed at a Rothschild mansion, all right, one of the Rothschild's mansions, and it was actually portraying one of their parties because that's what they like to do. They like that get up, the costume with the masks, the masquerades and shit, right? That's what they like to do. So basically, that movie showed you kind of how to get down, and I believe that movie they took out 20 minutes. There was a 20-minute scene or 15-minute scene. They had to take it out, and guess what? The director died a few days, either when it was finished or when it came out. I think when it came out, he died a week later, right? Because he was exposing too much. So those are top dignitaries, man. People sacrificing children, man, doing all kinds of wickedness, right? When the book of Ephesians 6 speaks about spiritual wickedness in high places, it's not exaggerating, brothers. There's all kinds of things. There's a dark web. There's a dark web, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. So anyway, I hope you're edified. Call halalim la Yahweh ba'ashem Yahushai ba'ashem Recha HaKodash for letting me do this lesson and bring this information out. And double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and salutations and blessings to you elect. Akim and Fiu Aquathim that take heed. Shalom.